All right, hey guys, Dan with Halstead Laser here, making another quick video about leveling the bed of your Ocean HT460, or I suppose this can apply to any or most CO2 gantry lasers. So first and foremost, we're not really leveling in the traditional sense. We're going to make it so that the nozzle is the same distance from the bed in all four corners. So the first thing you're going to want to do is this front panel on this laser. You're going to want to open it up. There are these gray tabs on each side. Open those up. This thing will open up. Then there's this little slider thing down here in the corner. It's on a little spring. If you push that out, it's going to allow your whole door to just come right off. And with my setup, where mine's sitting on, I can just slide it under, get it out of the way. From there, what you really want to do is take the honeycomb bed off. You can push the laser all the way to the back. Get the bed out of there. Get the knives out of there. That way you can access the tensioners down there. See those two? Here, you got those two tensioners right here. Yep, with the 4 bolts. So you want to loosen those bolts. And then you can slide those things back and the tension's going to totally come off that belt. Once you got the tension off that belt, I forgot to say, yeah, it's a 3 millimeter. You're going to need a 3 milli for that to loosen those. But once you get them loosened and you get those things pulled back, then you can see the tensions off the belt. And you can just slide this thing up and over the pulleys that are on each of those rods in the 4 corners. Once you have them off, then that's how we will start leveling the bed. It's a super simple process. What I typically do is I will put the honeycomb bed back on, and then I'll take a big flat piece of wood, like a cutting board or something. You'll see I use a cutting board here. From the one and only JDS. I'm sure most of you use them. Shout out to Al. He's an absolute beast over there. Takes care of me real well. But you just need something. Something that you can lay down on the bed so that when you raise and lower each corner, you got something to go off of so your focal distance is the same in all 4 corners. But what you're going to want to do is get it out of the way. Bring the nozzle down to whatever corner you want to start at. Slide your piece under there. And from there, you can see, how close or far away it is. And then you got these rods here. You're literally just going to start twisting that rod with your hand. And it's going to raise or lower that corner of the bed, depending on what you need here. See, super simple. So once you get it where you want it, I try and do it so it's just barely touching. Then you're just going to move on to the other corner. And you literally just repeat this process for all 4 corners. And again, what this is doing is it's making it so that each corner of the laser or the honeycomb bed is at the same distance to the nozzle on your gantry. I know people talk about leveling the bed and this and that, and this is how you do it. It's not like a traditional, you're not trying to level out your laser by any means. You want to get it so that the bed itself is an equal distance from that nozzle in all four corners. These back ones are a little bit trickier just because you got to reach way back there and spin those rods, but it really is a simple process. The only thing to be aware of is when you're done, you have to be careful putting that belt back on so that it doesn't inadvertently spin any of those rods. You're going to want to keep a good eye on it. If you accidentally spin one of those rods by moving the belt, then you're going to have to go back in and make sure that corner or those corners are an equal distance from where you had it. But here I am just double checking everything, making sure that the four corners are where I want them. I mean, laser engraving is a game of millimeters, so it's fairly important, but, you know, from what I've found in the last few years, you know, if you're a millimeter off here and there, it's typically not the end of the world. But I suppose it depends on what you're doing. So here, you know, go back in and we're saying, you know, that belt, you need to slip that belt back over all those drive gears and try not to, you know, have it spin any of those while you're putting it back on. And then once you get the belt back on, you can pull that honeycomb bed off, slide those, pull those tensioners back towards you, towards the front of the laser, and tighten those screws down, and you'll be good to go. Belt will be tight. You'll be ready to rock and roll.